Hey guys, what's going on? I am recording this on both my laptop and the GoPro. My last snowplowing video, you should probably notice how it ended kind of abruptly. The audio, for some reason, on the GoPro messed up, and that's where I cut the video at. But I'm recording it on both the laptop and the GoPro so that I can either use one or two of the footages, one or the other, and maybe use the audio off of one to put over the other if the audio's messed up or just whatever. But I wanted to definitely talk about this. Yesterday, the 12th, January 12th, I almost bought a mower. I went to my local John Deere dealer with the full intent of buying a John Deere because I know that I would be pretty happy with a John Deere zero turn. And I went through the whole process and didn't get approved for financing, so I wasn't able to get it. I could have had a co-signer to sign for me. The only people that really I could get to do that would be my parents, and they probably don't have very good credit either because, like me, we pay for everything in cash and paid in full and whatnot. We don't take loans out. We don't have credit cards, whatever. So I wasn't able to buy that, but I was looking at a 915E 54-inch cut, and I was going to get the seat isolation system, whatever, put in to help the seat be more comfortable because they don't have a full suspension seat for that mower. Well, it's going to come out to be like $89.90, I believe, price-wise. And the only thing that I did not like about the mower is the seat is just not very comfortable. They had a 950 there with the suspension seat, and the actual seat itself was the same way. It's the lumbar support is so low that it bothers my back. And the John Deere seats, or the seats on my John Deeres that I have now, my garden tractors, they're about the same way. They kind of bother my back a little bit, and my leg and whatnot when I sit on them. Well, that's the only thing that I do not like about the mower. Well, I went down to a Scag dealer down in Harrogate, Tennessee, Cumberland, Tennessee, same area. It's Bobby's Cycle Works is where it's at. And I went down there to look at a Scag, and they carry Wright, Scag, and Spartan. Well, I was mainly looking at a V-Ride, and they had one V-Ride there, a used one, 61-inch, that I tried out. And it wasn't too bad. It wasn't as hard to get the hang of as I thought it might would be. But what I don't like about the V-Ride, I think the padding and where you lean against is it just sticks out too far over the platform. I think for me, the way it's designed, I think the platform needs to be a little longer, and I think it's too straight up and down. I think it needs to be leaned inward more than more up and down like it is. But it wasn't very comfortable for me, and they have some heels there, and it wanted to rear up with me on the back. I couldn't really lean forward very much comfortably because, too, it comes up pretty high. But I just don't think a V-Ride's going to be for me, which I rode it around a pretty good bit, and with more practice or whatever, more time on the V-Ride, I'd probably get more used to it or whatever. But as of now, I just don't think it's going to work good for me. And then, two, I wouldn't be interested in a 61-inch because that's just too big for my properties. And I think a 52 would cut down the weight in the front and make it more likely to rear up on me. The 61-inch that I tried out, it reared up on me and at one time, and I wasn't even on a steep part of the yard. But I did look at a Wright, but I didn't drive it. I just stood on it, and from what little time I spent standing on the Wright, I believe it was more comfortable for me than the V-Ride. I wish I drove it now, but I didn't. But the thing that steers me away from the Wrights, I looked on the article of people talking about the John Deere Quick Track, which is made by Wright, and some people talk about they don't cut good. And I would imagine that Wright's cut good. I don't know, but some people have gone so far to say that on the quick tracks that they have known of people fabricating and welding on the deck to try and make them cut better. So that makes me leery of buying a Wright right there if their cut is supposedly going to be that bad, which is kind of surprising to me. I don't know nothing about Wright, but I would have expected better than that from their mowers. But I did look at a Scag Tiger Cat with, I think, the Kohler EFI 61 inch. I drove it around some, and it has the suspension seat, and it's a very nice mower. There's what I like about it better than the John Deere is the seat is a lot more comfortable, and the EFI engine is a great upgrade over a carbureted, I believe. The 915E comes with a carbureted Kohler. The Tiger Cat has an EFI Kohler or Kawasaki. And the things that I didn't much care for about the Scag is the parking brake locking system and the deck locking system. Whereas it seems like it's a manual lock. Like you have to manually release it, which that's obviously every mower, but it seemed like you had to manually lock it back. You couldn't just press on it with your foot and it lock in. You have to move the bar to lock it in, which is certainly not a deal breaker, but I figured, how hard would it be to add a spring load mechanism to automatically lock when you lift the deck or push the parking brake? The John Deere has a automotive style parking brake where you pull up on it and have the button on top to release it and whatnot. And you got to lean down for it, which ain't no big deal. But the deck height is right here beside you. You turn a little knob and you press down with your foot to unlock the deck and whatnot, and you dial to change the height. I love that about the John Deere. I didn't drive the John Deere, but the controls, just from sitting, both of them are very smooth. I did drive the Scag. I drove it around on some hills. They wasn't very steep, like I say, but there was some decent hills, and it seemed like it held those hills very well. Which, like I say, they wasn't steep at all, but going out sideways, it just seems like it held that very well. I honestly expected it to lean more, which that may just be me misjudging the steepness of the hill. I don't know. But overall, I'm very impressed with the Scag Tiger Cat, and I believe that I'll go with one of them, mainly because of the seat. I'm a John Deere fan through and through. I know how good a John Deere will cut. My garden tractors cut very good. All of my customers have commented on how good my mowers cut and how cleanly they cut. I can only imagine a full commercial grade 7-iron deck would cut even better. But quite a few people around here run the Scags, and I've heard a lot of good things about the Scags. And with the comfortability of the Tiger Cat with its seat and the EFI, I about believe I'll go with a 52-inch Tiger Cat with the Kawasaki EFI. The reason I go Kawasaki is because, according to the Scag website, the MSRP, they got a promotion now to where that Tiger Cat 52 with the Kawasaki EFI is right about the same price as what my John Deere would be. Now, I ain't quoted what it would be full, after taxes and the whole 9 yards, what it'll be, but it shouldn't be much more because, like I say, the John Deere I had quoted was going to be $89.90, pretty much right at $1,000 or $9,000. So a Tiger Cat shouldn't be much more than that. I mean, I'm willing to go to about 11 grand right now on a mower. But I am going to finance something. I'm not going to pay out straight for a mower. If I'm going to get one that's going to be financed. But, so like I say, I'm very impressed with the Scag, and I believe I'm going to go with a Scag. But as far as my mower situation, I do have all of my mowers listed right now. both of my primary mowers I have listed. If I can't get my asking price, I'm not going to sell them. I'm asking $3,500 for the X540 and $1,000 for the GT235. That mower, if it had a hood, would be a $1,500 mower. I'm cutting it down to $1,000 because it don't have a hood. And prices vary on such machines. It does have kind of high hours, but I know what condition it's in, and it's in very good condition. It mows great, pulls great, runs great, everything. So it's, to me, it's going to be worth that price. If somebody wants it, they're going to pay that price, or they ain't going to get it. So I am firm on my prices on my two primary mowers. I do have a John Deere 320 that you all have seen or will see in a video. I've talked about the projects that I work on in the winter. That is an older mower, pretty much the predecessor to both my GT235 and my X540. And I've got some parts coming for it. Shouldn't take much more to get it going, and it'll be ready to sell. I was going to keep it for a backup and to mow my yard with, because so I wouldn't have to unload the trailer all the time just to mow. But as soon as I get it fixed and it's in good shape and working order, I'm going to sell it as well. I do have my walk behind for sale still listed, but what I'm thinking about doing, I believe that most of my yards I could do with a zero turn, and just the ones that the parts that I can't, either use the walk behind on them or just weed eat those areas. And I've only got 1 or 2 yards to where that would be not necessarily a problem, but it would add a lot more work to the job. And if I'm a little bit picky with what I take on, I should be able to be just fine with a walk behind and a zero turn. But I believe too that if I have a zero turn, then I can pretty much cut out my helper having to mow at all. But the biggest problem with that from last year was my energy. I had bad problems with energy. I don't know what it was. Like, I could go good for a couple hours, and then it's just like I hit a brick wall and I feel weak, like I'm about to faint or something. I don't know what caused it. I had to deal with that for a lot during the summer, and I had to implement my helper into helping me a lot more. And sometimes he would end up helping me mow and do all the weed eating. I would just help do a lot of the mowing and whatnot. So that cut in. It didn't really save no time doing it that way. But hopefully this year, on some of the properties that there is a decent amount of weed eating, I can pretty much be almost done mowing in the time it takes him to weed eat. Which, like I say, some of my yards don't have a whole lot of weed eating, but the productivity I should gain with the zero turn or to make up for it. But and a couple of my properties too, I'm going to try and just cut out using him altogether. Some of them that are very easy. Like I got one across the road from me that I could do at any time. The reason I would do it with him is because we'd already be in the area and whatnot, and it would be due, and I just use him just to make it that much faster. I'm going to try and not do that and just do it whenever I have the time on those kind of properties, which may end up being me going out more to mow by myself, but that should save me some money on labor and whatnot. But I am looking to expand into some areas that are farther away, and the reason being is because just of the type of yards that are around here. There's decent yards, but they're scattered thin, or if they are smaller yards, they're in towns and people pretty much already got them or whatnot. I'm going to try and gain as many as I can locally, but if I can get into some decent areas further out and have customers close together to make it worth the 40-minute drive or whatever to those areas, I'm going to try and take on some stuff like that. But if my energy and overall health will allow me, I'm not going to let any money sit on the table this year if I can. I'm going to try and I'll have to have my helper do this, but I'm going to try and do gutter cleaning. I'm going to try and do pressure washing. I've got the junk removal trailer in the works, so hopefully that can make some income there. Maybe do some junk removal. It's going to be a little difficult with my back. I'll have to be careful with what I do, but going to offer that service if I can and work it in and be able to do it. I'm going to do it. But this year I'm not holding back. Last year, what I tried to do was stay at only 1 day a week of mowing. I tried to have more rest than work, which really is a good thing. Who wants to work all the damn time, really? But I tried to kind of do that, and that I could have made a lot more money if I did a lot more things, which sometimes it was pretty difficult because of weather and whatnot. But we'll just have to see what happens, really. But hopefully this year everything will go well. And two, another reason I'm wanting to get a new mower, especially like the Scag for how comfortable it is because of my back, like I said. And that's my main worry, is my back, on how well it's going to hold up. If I end up hurting it again, I don't know what condition I'm going to be in at that point. But there's a lot of changes that I want to try and make it to my business. I want to keep doing this. I would like to keep doing this for years to come. I enjoy lawn care. It's good money, even part-time. And, you know, I was making $1,500 a month and working 4 days out of the month. And to be completely honest with you, I don't even make that much money working 160 hours a month. Of course, though, my full-time job has the insurance and the retirement and, you know, all this, that, and the other. But still, that's decent money only working 4 days a month. But anyway, that's what I did yesterday, and I'm going to try and see if they can get a 52-inch Tiger Cat in. And I'm going to finance that very soon, and I'll hang on to my mowers that I've got now until I can get rid of some. And I'm hoping that not only the mowers that I already have, but the new mower, when I get one, I won't have no problems like I did last year, no downtime. I believe that my used mowers that I've got now will be pretty good shape, considering what all I've done to them. But it's just time will tell. You know, 1,000 hours, that may be something that I don't know is wore out on them that may break or whatever. But anyway, time will tell. Appreciate y'all watching, and I'll see y'all later.